Hi, I'm Iain Duff and I'm the editor of Campervan magazine. Well, it's a bit dreich today, as we say in Scotland, but we're not going to let that bother us. We've got a brand new campervan to have a look at, and that always brightens up your day. Today we're on the banks of the Grand Union Canal in Northamptonshire. Lovely little spot to have a look at the Benimar Benivan 161. Picked it up from Marcus Leisure in Northampton earlier today, drove it over and found a little campsite just on the side of the canal. So as I said, the weather's not exactly great, but we're in the UK, we're used to that. Hopefully it might bring a little bit of Spanish sunshine to proceedings. Although looking at the grey skies up there, I'm not entirely convinced.
The Benivan 161 is a two-berth camper, and its base vehicle is the 6-metre version of the ever-popular Fiat Ducato. It comes as standard with a 140 horsepower engine and a 6-speed gearbox. Automatic transmission will add a whopping £4,000 to your bill, but it does mean you get Campovolo grey paintwork instead of the standard Expedition white as seen here. Whichever option you choose, there's plenty included to make driving easier and more comfortable. You get the stop-start function, hill descent control, cab seats with twin armrests, and Bluetooth and radio controls on the steering wheel. Cab air conditioning, cruise control and front fog and cornering lights are part of the standard spec, as are 16-inch black alloy wheels and a colour-coded front bumper. The radio isn't included as standard, but the model we tested was fitted with an XZent stereo head unit for an extra 816 quid. And that brings us rather neatly to the price. This model costs £57,495, and that means you get a lot of van for your buck.
Now the one thing you will notice about this van straight away is that the sliding door is on the driver's side, which is of course the wrong side as far as the UK market is concerned. As long as you're careful getting out, then it shouldn't be a problem. So on the other side of the van we've got your usual outlets. So that's the electric hookup, which I'll be hooking up shortly. In here you've got your waste. Now this van's all about value for money, so you could be forgiven for thinking that you might not get all the kind of extras that you would get on a more expensive van. Well, there are plenty, and here's one. This little electric step pops out and zips back in again, just to make life a little bit easier getting in and out. Just something else to point out while we're at the entrance is that the fridge, which is situated there, opens on both sides, as you can see, which allows you to access it both from the outside and from the inside really easily. So another neat little feature to show you here is the blinds on the driver and passenger side windows. To cover them up at night time, slide that back, lift it up into place, fans round, lock it in place, simple as that. So it's getting really chilly now and I think it's going to rain, so I think it's probably about time we got inside, don't you? Oh, just one more thing that I forgot to mention. Not an awful lot of need for it in this weather, but the door has a bug screen behind it which slides back. Obviously in hotter temperatures where you want to have your door open, you can have that back and it keeps the bugs out. So as I'm sure you can probably hear and you can definitely see, the rain is on, so we timed that just right. It's nice and warm and dry in here of course, so that's a great opportunity to give you a good look around the inside of the van. So I'll just very quickly describe the layout to you. We've got the half dinette at the front with two swivel cab seats and travel seats there which allow 4 people to sit around the table. So immediately to my right here we've got the kitchen. To my left is the washroom just behind me, and right through the back is the bedroom, which has either 2 fixed single beds or you can create a double out of them.
The lounge dining area is right at the front of the van, immediately behind the front cab. In here you'll find mains and USB sockets, as well as a TV aerial point. A storage locker is above the lounge window, and there's more storage in the floor space and under the travel seats. These are fitted with seat belts, which are hidden away when they're not in use. Although this is just a two-berth camper, there is seating for 4 around the dining table if you're having guests around for dinner.
And if you want to create a bit more table space, the table extends. So, latch underneath, and you simply spin it out like that, and there you have it. So the table is also removable. You can take it off the hook there and put it outside and attach it to the bar on the back of the kitchen unit here. That allows you to have a table out in your awning if you've got one, or if you want to sit outside, you can have the table there. So this is just a prototype version of the van. The final version will also have a storage compartment behind the kitchen unit where you can take the table down, stash it in behind the kitchen unit in its own special little compartment, and that'll give you an awful lot more space for sitting at the seats there for travelling.
As someone who falls into the heavy set category, there are some aspects of this layout that I find a little challenging.
Now for me, the dining table is just a little bit too cramped, not enough space to sit in behind it comfortably. So if you're taller or if you've got a bigger build, then you might struggle a bit with that. No problem sitting on the front seats. Spin them round, you can sit at the table without any problem whatsoever. So as you can see, there's no over cab storage cupboard here, just a couple of pockets there for your maps and for sunglasses, etc. What that does is it makes it an awful lot easier to get from the front through to the living area at the back. What it doesn't have though, and a lot of vans these days do, is a large skylight above the cab. Now that means you don't get quite as much light into the living area as you would do. Just to offset that slightly, there is a pretty good size roof light above the dining table in the half dinette, and plenty of windows either side, so there is a light coming in, and it's a really dark, dingy day today, but it's fairly bright inside, and the upholstery and furniture is light coloured as well, which also helps. Now it's not something you have to worry about too much on this trip, but in hot weather, if you want your windows open in the living area, you can do. They all open, and you can pull down the fly screen, and that will keep any bugs out.
On a day like today, I got much more use out of the Webasto diesel-powered blown air heating system, which you control from the lounge area along with the lights, the hot water and the water pump.
So down to my right down here, we've got the kitchen unit. It's a fairly modestly sized kitchen, just the one gas hob and a decent sized stainless steel sink. A little bit of worktop space, not a massive amount. What it does have though, which is popular amongst British customers, is a combined gas grill and oven. Now, the downside of that is that you lose some storage space, so where you might see a cupboard under the sink, obviously the oven is taking up that space. There's a drawer right down at the bottom there, and up to my right up here, there is an overhead locker as well. At the far end of the kitchen is the Dometic compressor fridge with a freezer compartment. It's 70 litres, so it's a good size for a couple. So on my left hand side here is the washroom. It's a little bit pokey, so again, if you're a bigger build or if you're tall, then you might find it a little bit uncomfortable. I'll show you inside.
Campervan washrooms are by definition compact spaces and are very rarely comfortable. It's all about making the best use of the limited space available, and the Benivan does a pretty good job of that. The fashionable fittings and colour scheme also give it the appearance of a posh hotel rather than a campervan.
Now the window in here does open for ventilation. Unlike a lot of vans, the shower is completely separate to the wash hand basin, so it doesn't extend from the taps, it has its own controls down below. The toilet bowl spins round to give you a bit more space when you're having a shower, and then you can move it back into position when you're finished. Now if you're wondering where the wash hand basin is, well, it's quite neat. Open that up and it folds out. Sink like so, and the taps fold out as well. So as you can see, the bed is currently set up as a single, but in a minute or two I'll show you how to make it into a double. But just before that, I'm just going to show you this. So to create a bit more storage space in the back when you're travelling, you can lift the bed up like so, just tighten that a bit, and the other one here, and that allows you to lift that up. It gives you access down here into this storage area as well, but once you've got these up here, and you can do the same on this side as well, and that creates that space a little bit wider in the middle. So something else you can do as well to create more space under here, when you lift up the bed on this side and strap it into place like so, the storage cupboards under the bed are actually removable. You can take them out altogether if you want, or you can just shove them down to the other end of the van while you're driving. But what that does is it opens up that space even more on this side, and that allows you to put in bikes or wider items that you want to store or carry while you're driving. So as I said, I had it set up as a single bed, but what I'm going to do now is show you how to set it up as a double. It's really easy. Stashed away. Panel. Same on the other side. So you've got your wooden boards here. These hook onto the bed frame underneath the mattress and then create a central panel down the middle. And you then, once you've attached them, you put the spare cushions on to actually create the bed.
The double bed measures 1.86 metres across by 1.74 metres long. The slatted single beds run lengthways, one of them 1.99 metres long and the other 1.74 metres. In the production model, the corner of the mattress on the longer bed will be sliced off to create more walking space. There are two eye-level lockers along the near side wall and two more opposite. One of them is designed to be used for hanging longer items like shirts, although there's no actual wardrobe. This is the 6 metre version of the Ducato, so it's still easily manoeuvrable, and I had no problems nipping around town after collecting it from the Marcos premises in Northampton. Supermarket parking bays will inevitably be too short, however, and the 2.65 metre height will of course rule out multi-storey car parks, so urban parking needs some thought. Out on the open roads of Northamptonshire, the Benivan felt reassuringly stable, even on the twisting rural thoroughfares. There was a little rattling coming from the kitchen area, although it has to be said this was not helped by the absolute state of the road surfaces.
So what's the verdict? Well, the first thing to say is that this is excellent value for money. At around 56,000, it's got to be in contention if you're in the market for a two-berth van. Now for me, where it does fall down a little bit is in terms of the size and the space. If you are a bigger built or if you're tall, then you might consider that this hasn't really been built with you in mind. That said, space is always limited in a camper van, and they've done their best to try and make the most of that space. The sleeping area is pretty flexible. You can have two single beds or make it up into a double. There's also the option to take out some of the storage at the bottom under the bed and use that for carrying bigger items like bikes, etc. Overall storage is actually pretty decent, and the only place that it's not brilliant is in the kitchen. There's one overhead locker there and a drawer. The reason there's a little bit less storage space than you might expect is actually a positive one. It's because it's got a built-in oven and grill, and that is something that UK customers really do appreciate. So as the old saying goes, you get what you pay for, but in this case you get probably slightly more than you would expect to get for what you're paying, and that makes this a really good option. So that's the Benivan 161, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you can give us a like or leave a comment down below. It all helps us make more of these videos. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any of our future videos, then subscribe to the channel as well, and you'll get a notification to tell you when there's a new one. So thanks for watching, I'll see you again soon. Till the next time, happy camping.